Today I'll be comparing GCP Postgres against CockroachDB to find out how they differ in terms of consistency. I've picked CockroachDB against a number of databases to find out the differences in consistency. This is the fourth test I've run. I've previously tested against AWS Aurora, Azure Cosmos DB, and GCP AlloyDB, but today we'll be doing GCP Postgres. Let's hop into the code. I'll show you what the code looks like. Being Postgres compatible databases, the code is identical for both databases. So here we have the code for GCP Postgres. We have a bunch of accounts, and this simulates accounts in a bank account. I set the write and read URLs. So in this architecture, I have a primary instance in GCP Postgres and a read replica. So this is the URL for the primary instance. I connect, and I do the same for the read replica. I connect, and at the end, I do a ping against both read and writes, just to make sure that I've got a connection to both. I create a Go channel, and I kick off a read and write thread. So this object here contains the account ID that I should use when reading from the database, and the amount that I should expect to see in the database at the time. This function here writes to Postgres. For each of the accounts that I have in the collection above, I'll spin up a Go channel, and I'll just keep on incrementing the amount in the database. So it goes from 0 upwards. And this thread reads. Whenever I make a write to the database, I'll signal by way of Go channel that a read should take place. So I'll increment a number, I'll say the number has incremented, and I'll read and expect to see that number. If I don't, there's a problem. So let's get those tests ready to go. I'll kick off both. I'll start GCP Postgres and then Cockroach. So what we can see in the case of GCP Postgres now is we wrote 926 to the database, but we actually read back 925 from the replica, meaning that the replica was in an inconsistent state to the primary instance. Our database is essentially out of sync. This is a pattern that I'm seeing a lot from the cloud augmented legacy databases, AWS Aurora, GCP AlloyDB, and now Postgres, and Azure Cosmos DB. They all have a single write instance and 0 or more read replicas for read scalability. They're all eventually consistent. And for some workloads, this is absolutely fine. But for workloads, for example, in the worlds of finance, e-commerce, inventory management, or anything where consistency is critical to your business operation, eventual consistency doesn't work. What CockroachDB does well is strong consistency, and even strong consistency in a multi-region setup. Stay tuned for more demonstrations of CockroachDB against other databases. I'll be looking at consistency, resiliency, scale, and total cost of ownership over the course of the next few months.